Hey guys, welcome to the Progressive Vibe Podcast. I'm your host, Dodrick. Today's date is October 1st, 2023. I was about to say September. This year's just going by so quickly. Today is October 1st, 2023. This is Season 7, Episode 2, and the title of this episode, The Brand Parties. So on today's show, we're going to get into the branding misconception with both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. To help break that down, we get into a piece published by NPR called What's Behind the Misconceptions Republicans and Democrats Have About Each Other. But before we get into today's jam-packed show, a few quick programming notes. So thank you to the listeners of the show for for showing your continued support. However you choose to contribute to the podcast is always appreciated. Giving it a thumbs up on social media, sharing it amongst friends, family, or donating to the show. All of these methods help the Progressive Vibe podcast become a bigger voice amongst the masses to the issues we all care about. So again, thank you for what you do. You can listen to the Progressive Vibe podcast anywhere you can get podcasts. Two main ways to get the link that takes you directly to the show. You can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Dottie_Vibe. That's DODI_VIBE. On my page is a link you can tap on, and it will take you directly to everything TP Vibe related, as well as if you want to make donations to the show. If you don't have a X or formerly known as Twitter account, here's the direct link you can search. It is linktree/TP Vibe. That's LINKTREE/TPVIBE. Lastly, the Progressive Vibe Podcast After Hours is on Twitch. My Twitch handle is the same as my X or Twitter handle, and that is Dottie_Vibe. Again, I'm going to spell it DODI_VIBE. It would be awesome if you guys follow the podcast there as well. On that note, guys, let's not take any more time. Let's get into today's main show. Hey guys, welcome to the main show of the Progressive Vibe. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to read you guys this article produced by NPR, What's Behind the Misconceptions Republicans and Democrats Have About Each Other, and then on the other side of the break, elaborate more, provide my analysis, and so forth. So let's get right into this article. It says, 538 political writer Perry Bacon speaks with NPR's Audie Cornish about why he thinks Republicans and Democrats have each other all wrong. Audie Cornish, the host, says, as the divide deepens between Republicans and Democrats in today's heated political climate, the two parties appear to know less and less about each other. Perry Bacon Jr. is a political writer for 538. He's dug into recent research about the partisan divide. His story is called Democrats Are Wrong About Republicans, Republicans Are Wrong About Democrats. So Cornish goes on to say, you look primarily at a study published in the Journal of Politics, and these two researchers tried to suss out the misperceptions that voters have about people in the other party. How did this research work? So Bacon Jr. elaborated. He said, so what they did was they did a poll where they asked people about kind of stereotypical groups in each party. For example, how many blacks are in the Democratic Party and how many evangelicals are in the Republican Party? About 25% of Democrats are black. Republicans think that 46% of Democrats are black. About 6% of Democrats are gay, lesbian, or bisexual. Republicans thought about 38% of them were. On the Republican side, about 2% of Republicans make more than $250,000 a year. Democrats thought 44% of Republicans made that much, and about 36% of Republicans are Southerners. Democrats thought that number was about 44%. So Cornish asked the question, now, why do you think that is? Bacon Jr. elaborated, I think there are two explanations. One is that I think people are just not great at math. For example, it is true that most blacks vote Democratic, but it's not true that therefore most Democrats are black. The second factor here, I would say, is media coverage. And what I mean by that is the stereotypes of parties in the media are really deep. The media every 4 years, maybe every 2 years, say Democrat X can only win if blacks vote for them in huge numbers, and Republican X can only win if evangelicals vote for them in huge numbers. So I'm not surprised that people have internalized deeply those stereotypes and maybe over internalized them. So Cornish goes on to say, another way to think of this is the idea that just like advertising or commercial branding, now we kind of see party identity as like part of our own identity, which makes it really high stakes if you are arguing about it. Cornish proceeded to laugh. Bacon Jr. elaborated precisely. In the old days, it used to be, the parties were about like tax policy. Republicans want lower taxes, Democrat want higher taxes. But now you have the parties that are not just divided on policy, but also identity. Like when party has become not just about policy, but also about who you are, that makes it much harder to resolve conflicts. It's why when people say they want to go to Thanksgiving dinner, but they don't want to see their friends who support the other party, that's why, because they're now not just arguing over politics, they're arguing over race, religion, and geographic, and all these deeply personal things. Cornish goes on to say, did any of these researchers tell you how this might be solved? Bacon proceeded to say, they did not tell me. There's not a lot of optimism about solving this problem, in part because although one of my colleagues I do some work with, the New America Foundation, and his name is Lee Drutman. One of his ideas is if we have more parties, a Bernie Sanders party, a Hillary Clinton party, a John Huntsman party, and a Donald Trump party, and those are different views in that party. So there are a lot of Republicans, for example, who are uncomfortable with the way Trump talks about racial issues, but their views is if I vote for him or if I vote for Democrats, I lose on taxes and I lose on other things that I care about. But if you had more parties and it was easier for like a third or fourth party to win, you might not have the polarization where every person who's like deeply religious may feel like they have to be in the Republican Party, even if on taxes they agree with Democrats. And Cornish said, that's Perry Bacon Jr. He's a political writer for 538. Thanks so much for speaking with us. And then Bacon Jr. said, thank you for having me, Audie. So it's a lot to unpack there. We're going to talk about more about it on the other side of the break. But I will post this article along with the podcast so you guys can check out the article if you like. Also, there is a 3-minute listen, so you can actually just hit a play button and it'll just read it to you instead of you having to read it, just whatever you prefer. But I'm curious to see what you guys think about this article. Obviously, I have some type of different take about this article. Some of it does it justice, some of it doesn't. But we will talk about that on the other side of the break, guys. Stay tuned, and we will be right back. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. So, I wanted to further elaborate on the NPR article that I shared with you guys in the last segment. And really, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to just provide my overall perception of what's behind the misconceptions Republicans and Democrats have about each other. And NPR expressed some examples that were heard. They're examples that are needed for other people to hear based on what Democratic voters think of the Republican voters, vice versa. And we all have our different we all have our different opinions and perceptions of what we think about either party. And but what I want, and I feel like this is what voters are actually starting to come along and realize, is having the independent line of thinking that it's going to actually take to get the Republicans and the Democrats to form back around their constituents. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the Republican and Democrat Party now are so worried about their brand that they have completely lost touch of the American voter. The American voter, whether you're Democrat or Republican, overwhelmingly agree on multiple of different type of issues that plague the United States. Okay? When you have 60% plus on issues that the American voters want and care about, and it's not actually being established within our government, there lies the problem. And the problem lies in the messaging, and more importantly, I think the branding. What do your voters perceive of you? And the voters perceive of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party of being just corrupt. Point blank and period. Corrupt. And I'm not saying that all Democrats and all Republicans in Congress are corrupt, but when you have the majority of them in Washington, D.C., that play the same ball. Now, they might say different things based on morale, but when it comes down to it, they're on the same team when it comes to corruption or legalized robbery, however you want to put it. And therefore, the out of touchness comes in to play. And then there comes in the anger that both parties have. And where are they going to put that anger? They're going to put that anger towards the government. They're going to put their anger towards people who don't see eye to eye with them. And that's a recipe for disaster. But it starts with us having the representation that we need to have in office. People who hold power within these institutions, we need to have precise presentation, fair presentation. The only way that you're going to have people, Democrats and Republicans, to stop attacking each other on identity politics is actually addressing the issues that they want to be addressed. That's how you form a coalition. That's how you form a bond. That's how you form a team. You're never going to form these things when your overall brand is what can enrich me? What can I do for my donors? What can I do to help preserve the power I have for decades? That's how a lot of these politicians, unfortunately, map out their game plan when they get elected in office. And it's a recipe for disaster, as we're seeing now. President Biden's approval numbers is horrendous. He's a mixed bag. He has did some good stuff. He has did some stuff that leave you scratching your head. And I think it points more towards the Democratic Party, if I can be fair for a second, because people in this country, they're going to look at the party in power. They're not going to hear that, okay, well, the previous administration did X, Y, and Z to make it harder for you guys. That's gone. That's in the past. What can we do now to rectify? What can we do now to progress? What can we do now to actually benefit ordinary people? And when you start addressing those things, you will start to see the support shift in more of a approval way than a disapproval way. And I think the Democrats are so worried about bipartisanship. They're so worried about, okay, if we push this agenda to be actually progressive, what's going to happen when the Republican Party gets into power? Are they going to, you can't go through life wondering what if something happens. The Democrats can't worry about, okay, well, if we do it this way, if we get out of office, the Republicans are going to roll back this, and they're going to do this and this and this. You can't negotiate and you can't do business in that way. And you also can't fearmonger on, if Trump gets back into office, this is what you're going to get. That's not going to work. You need to actually provide people with legislation that's going to materially benefit ordinary people's lives. You know, Biden always says, look at the polls, Jack. Well, he needs to look at the polls, Jack, and understand that if you want this bipartisan support that you're so much clamoring over, that the party's so much clamoring over, okay, how about you start with looking at what most Americans want? And when we say most Americans, we mean Republican and Democrat. And that's going to show. That's going to show. So just this whole brand thing, it's so annoying because, you know, we have a bunch of egotistical people in government, unfortunately. And it's so easy to forget about the little guy. It's so easy to forget about the families that are just trying to make ends meet. The families that are just trying to go on one fucking vacation. Just one vacation a year. Like, can't even do that. Have a little extra money in your pocket so you can go out to eat every now and then, or don't have to worry about penny pension just because you have, you know, these bills due at the end of the month, or have to worry about car insurance, or have to worry about home mortgage or rent, or, like when you start actually addressing the kitchen table issues and start actually applying the policy that it needs to provide remedy for these problems, that's going to actually bond people, not just trying to brand yourself into saying that I'm not the Republicans. Vice versa for the Republican Party. Republicans are not going to get anywhere by saying, you know, we're going to take women's rights away from them. We're not going to provide any sick leave or any higher wages. We just want to tax cut, tax cut, tax cut. We just want to provide tax cuts to the rich. That message is not going to stick anymore. Now, it might have stuck in the 1990s, in the early 2000s, but it's not sticking anymore because the world as a whole has progressed. Social media, technology has progressed. It's just so much you're going to be able to get away with and say that, oh, well, actually, no. Actually, you lied to the American people and you need to suffer consequences for it. Republicans, Democrats, it don't matter. You need to get voted out. Because you can't, life is precious. You can't get time back. And the more time goes and the more things are not done in society that's supposed to actually be a given for people, then you're going to see society crumble. And it's going to be a matter of time before it hits the rich guy, before they start feeling it. And all of a sudden then, when it starts affecting the top 10%, all of a sudden things want to start being done. We don't need that. We don't have time for that. Things need to get done now. Politicians need to listen to their constituents and not lie to their faces, say one thing in their faces, and then when it's time to actually vote on legislation that they are privy to, all of a sudden there's an excuse. You can't do it because you're bought off. That's the type of branding I think is happening right now within both parties. Those are the misconceptions. And I think the sooner the better. The soon when people actually wake up and understand that their government is not working for them, the better. You're seeing work strikes happen all across the country. UAW is a perfect example. People are tired of being played. People are tired of being mistreated on their work, in their work, in their day-to-day lives. People deserve more. And it's not fair that these owners and stockbrokers are literally having their cake and eating it too, while the people who actually have boots on the ground, who are actually providing their blood, sweat, and tears on these jobs to make the owners billions of dollars, are not getting anything to show for their hard contribution on their jobs. they're taking it to the streets. They're striking, and I don't blame them. The UPS workers, the Starbucks workers, it's translating to every crack in society. And I say keep going. I say keep going. I say the working class is providing their own brand, which is a brand that I want to be a part of. A brand where everybody feels like they have a say in democracy. People have food on their table. People have money in their wallets. People actually have a savings account. People actually have a cleaner, more safer environment. So I just want to just get that off my chest, and I want to see what you guys think. There is a Q&A that's going to also be attached with the podcast. I'm eager to hear what you guys think about the misperceptions of the Republican and Democrat Party have against one another. And I ultimately think that it's not with, well, the Republican voters and Democrat voters, the misperceptions are more so not of each other, but more so of what the Democrat and Republican politicians are doing in government. That's my overall perception of it. When we come back, guys, we're going to have the social media break of the show. Don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Hey, guys, welcome to the social media break of the show. Let's get right into some tweets. I'm never going to call them X's, man. I'm sorry. I don't know, again, what Elon Musk was thinking about naming the platform X. It's going to always be Twitter to me, but I digress. First one here is from Nina Turner. She has a meme. It says, what's a scam that's so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore? She said our healthcare system. That's so true. That's so true. Let's see. This is a fun one. This one's from Nikki Geist. It's a repost. She says you can only pick 2 free things for life: free massages, free housing, cleaning, free gas, free makeup, free alcohol, free pizza, free coffee, free tacos. Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna say you can only pick 2, right? Okay. I'm gonna say free house cleaning and free alcohol. I ain't even gonna lie. The thought of having my house clean, I don't even own a house, but if I did own a house, the fact about having free house cleaning and not having to actually clean, like, especially, I don't know, I'm super OD when it comes to the bathroom, like cleaning the bathroom and things like that. So if I could actually have a free house cleaning, somebody to clean my bathroom all the time, oh man, that would be awesome. And then the free alcohol, I mean, the thought of just like having like a free winery in my home just tickled my fancy, man. It tickles my fancy. Let's go on to another one. Trying to find a interesting one. Let's see. Brian Castillo says the right sure have their priorities straightened out. They're more upset about Jamal Bowman stupidly pulled a fire alarm, but not so much for Republicans bickering over nothing all week while struggling working people were anxious of a possible government shutdown. They're a joke. I mean, enough said. Enough said. And this is from last one here, from Positive Call Mindset Coach. He asked, what is your choice? Pain of discipline or pain of regret? I'm going to say pain of discipline. I never want to have the regret of not doing something in life that pains me so bad to where I feel it. I'd rather much more have the pain of discipline. Something that if I make a mistake, learn from it, get better, grow from it, things like that. Okay, guys, that wraps up the social media break of the show. When we come back, we will close out the show. Hey guys, welcome back. That's going to wrap up today's show on the Progressive Vibe Podcast, Season 7, Episode 2, The Brand Parties. I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode. We will have a brand new episode for you guys next Sunday, around about same time. I always appreciate the TP Vibe listeners for tuning in and supporting and just showing love to the Progressive Vibe Podcast. This is our show. We do this together. Independent mind, independent thought, and hopefully positive results. On that note, guys, I hope everyone have a great rest of your day. Remember to stay positive, stay progressive, because it's a vibe. See you guys in the next one.